Have you ever thought about the process that your smartphone went through to get to you? First, raw materials such as metals have to be extracted from mines. These raw materials then go to different manufacturers so that they can begin producing the many different components that go into a smartphone. Once the components are made, they're sent to be assembled into what you know as a smartphone. The assembled phones are then sent to different sales points or warehouses to be sent via mail. In very broad terms, this is what the supply chain behind the smartphone looks like. But what happens when the supply chain is broken or interfered with? Events like the COVID-19 pandemic and now Russia's invasion of Ukraine are seriously impacting the supply chain across many industries. In this video, we will look at what this all means in macroeconomic terms. I'm Somi Arian. I'm a tech philosopher and the founder of the FemPeak platform, where visionary individuals come to stay in the know and ahead of the curve in business and technology. I'm super passionate about getting more people on board with Web3, investing, and financial empowerment. Please just remember, nothing I say here is financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. So if you are on board, let's dive right in. The whole point of supply chain is to be able to make production processes more efficient and reduce costs. They're the network composed of companies and their suppliers and manufacturers that produce and distribute products or services. This network may include different people, activities, and resources that follow a series of step-by-step instructions to get a product or service from its initial state as a concept or idea to the finished product into the customer's hands. These steps may include extraction and transformation of raw materials into finished products, transportation, and distribution. The different players that work in a supply chain include producers, vendors, warehouses, transportations, logistics, distribution companies, and retailers. So what is happening now, and how will it affect our day-to-day lives? During the past 2 years of COVID, you might have heard the term supply chain a lot in news and social media, or even in conversations with friends and family. This is because one of the most affected areas across all industries during the pandemic were the supply chains. With the initial border closures and then the ever-changing travel restrictions and bans, and of course with everyone locked up inside their houses, the demand for certain products drastically changed, creating chaos in systems that had been placed for a long time. Although the pandemic also served to expedite the digitalization of our society, so it might be okay to assume that this wide adoption of technology across all aspects of life will also impact the supply chain management strategies, not only to make the processes better, but to increase the visibility and communication between supply chain key players and companies. COVID-19 strained the global supply chain to their limits, creating shortages and pushing up the prices. Now, just as it seemed that we were nearing the end of the pandemic, Russia's invasion of Ukraine threatens to hit those fragile supply chains even harder. Russia is also a major producer and exporter of raw materials, from oil and natural gas to palladium and wheat. And then Ukraine is also a major exporter of wheat and neon. So experts are logically predicting shortages of these elements around the world. Some of the industries that will be most heavily affected are the energy and transportation sectors, especially in Europe, as these countries rely almost exclusively on Russian gas and oil. To give you an example, the electricity bill for Spaniards has about doubled in March, and there's a general transportation strike because of the insane oil prices. The strike in transportation then means a massive challenge for the supply chain because the products cannot reach their destinations. As I mentioned before, Ukraine exports 90% of neon used to produce semiconductors or computer chips in the US. On the other hand, Russia exports around 40% of the world's palladium, another rare metal that also is used in semiconductors. If some sort of deal isn't reached soon, the combined shortages of these two elements will create a huge issue for the automotive industry and the tech and electronic sector. Same as with the pandemic, the impact of Russian-Ukrainian conflict on supply chains, logistics, transportations, and all other affected industries will depend on how long the conflict lasts. If it stretches in time, the negative effects on the world economy will be very profound and destabilizing. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and press that like button. This will help more people discover these videos. Also, be sure to ping that notification bell so you're alerted when I release the next video. And let me know in the comments what other topics you would like me to cover. Finally, if you like what you see here, join the FemPeak platform, where we have live mentoring sessions with industry experts and you can network with other visionaries like yourself.